Okay, it hasn't kicked up yet.
Yeah, but it's recording now. Just because you're... Okay, I've turned off the Wi-Fi on that. Probably need to turn the volume off on it. It made me think earlier today when we were watching JS Farms and her phone went off. I was like, oh, I've had that happen before. Okay. Let everybody come on over. Candy Hill, you changed your name to Candy Hill Homestead. I like that. I think you had done that before, but I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Krista. Of course, Krista's gonna be here. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Hey, Karen. That's Josh, right? Because isn't Nicole at work, right? Hey, Revelation. Bring on the massage oil. Nova Scotia, nice. Okay. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Trudy. Lady Hawthorne, good. I'm glad you're here. Right now, you know you're not Heidi. I'll try to be good. Hey, Deep South. Why so blue, Jason? Brenda from Fun Are We? That's awesome. Don't you do it.
No, I was...
Wait, does that say Conyers? Shout out from Conyers?
Yes, we have a friend in Conyers.
Yay! Very cool. What happened to your turn? Nothing. Alright, we're going to kind of let everybody come on in.
Where's Kitty?
Oh, living like Claire. She's here. Smiling is good for your health, Jason. Jason is just relishing the discussion of Clary Sage tonight. Where's my picture of the table saw stand? Hey, Angel Man. I got a question. I have not heard from you. You had asked me to order some stuff for you, and I haven't been able to get in contact with you. I don't know if we're just crossing email paths, but if you could message me, I would appreciate that.
Kitty?
Yeah, she was the second one here. What?
Hold on. Just don't worry about me. You do
What are
your
you
thing.
doing? Oh.
When we hit 100, send me a message via Skype, please. Because my count is not acting all that great right now. Because right now it says we have 51 people in here, and I don't know if that's...
59.
Now it just jumped to 59.
And
See?
69. Okay.
So...
Alright. Yeah, we did have a really good time with Cockeyed Homestead. It was really funny because it was like 1 minute it was 10:30, and then the next minute I went to check the phone just to see if the kids had called, and the next thing I knew it was like almost, it was like 2:30, so it had been a really long time. So alright, so we got quite a few. We got a lot of regulars in here, I'm seeing. Roxanne, Teresa. Yeah, we know Teresa. It was really hard to regulate that music. He was having a hard time with the editing. Now, okay, so I always hear of her as JS Farms. JS Farms, what is your name?
JS Farms 2004.
Right, but what is her name? Besides Hoorah.
Because her show was today.
Yes, I know, we watched. I know, Meemaw, I know. Hey, Phil. Yeah.
Nature's Art, new sub. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Now, see, you're going to say sir, and then it's going to be a girl. Stephanie, okay.
Welcome, channel.
Hey, Amanda. All right.
Okay, so let's do our channel shout out so I at least get to talk a little bit tonight.
I didn't do my homework.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe your channel shout out should be Clary Sage.
Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you. I needed that. You inspire me.
Mm-hmm. Well, my channel shout out tonight is JS Farms 2004.
Yes.
If you guys missed her live show today, wow, did you miss a good one.
Especially if you don't know much about cows.
Excuse me, this is my channel shout out.
Look, if you haven't figured out that I finish your sentences,
This is my channel shout out.
no, I don't care.
She did an awesome class on cattle today.
Yes.
She talked about what to look for with their legs,
Mhm.
their hooves,
Mhm.
how to judge their personality on the first time you meet them,
Yeah, the
whether or not
disposition.
it's a good cow to buy, about what their udders should look like, what their teats should look like. I mean, I even learned something today,
I was
and
gonna say.
we've had a dairy cow for like ever.
And beef cattle, she answered something, or
Mhm.
I don't know that she realized she answered it,
That's the one
but
you
she
should
said that that it's quite typical for beef cattle to have 6 udders or 6 teats, and we have had that happen with 2 of our heifer calves, but they were bred by, or their father was a Hereford, so now that kind of makes a little bit. I mean, we already knew that it had to have something to do with the dad.
So
But-
if you're not sub to them, open up the tab like Brad always says. Go over there, hit that sub button. I promise you, you're gonna like it. It was JS Farms 2004.
Yes.
They're in here.
Yep.
Her husband is a jarhead just like me, so he gets mad extra love for that. So yeah, you're definitely gonna, if you missed today's live show for them, you definitely need to go back and watch it.
Especially if you're even considering buying a cow. She had a lot of information. I mean, a lot of it we knew, but it was great to hear, somebody else. It's always nice when you hear somebody else say the same stuff you know, so it kind of affirms what you...
Yeah, Krista, definitely
watch
it
that.
tomorrow. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, she was like all professional and stuff. She had pictures and everything. She made the rest of us kind of look bad.
Oh, look. Claire's telling her mama, you better, Krista.
I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
But-
So do I get to do mine now?
Yeah, do yours. Loser.
Well, you inspired me. You said I should do it on Clary Sage. So, how about I give my shout out to Living Like Claire. I've seen her get a lot more active in a lot of the chats lately, and I love. You better have been winking there. That is so your mom. Don't even try that. Yeah, you can shut her computer off, can't you, Krista? But let me tell you, Claire,
Hi, Jordan.
She is an awesome, awesome young lady. I can't even say girl because she really is. She helps out her family a lot. I've seen, she gets very in depth with her dad. And, well, I wonder where she gets that from, Krista. Krista said she's very sassy. No, she does not get it from her dad. But anyway.
So all complaint emails can go to BigBearFarmsOils@hotmail.com.
But anyway, we love Claire. Claire, I'm really glad to see you being more active in these chats. It's quite inspiring to see a young lady doing how you're doing. Although I'm gonna have to say I was a little disappointed when I heard that she wasn't gonna have her show on
I know
Saturday.
my girls just
my daughters kind of broke their heart
Yeah.
a little bit, but because you guys, you don't really realize it, but you're an inspiration to these younger, because there are younger kids watching these shows, and when it's all of these adults talking about stuff, kids just kind of like, yeah, okay. But when they have somebody that's closer to their age, it's,
Yep.
you know, it.
You and Off Grid Kid are leading the pack.
Yes.
And inspiration
Yes.
to everybody else's kids. But we understand.
But it's okay. We understand. I just want you to know that you did have an impact, and you will continue to have an impact by doing your videos, you know, just sporadically, however many you can fit in. But she definitely, yes, Revelation, I agree. Her maturity is very refreshing. And my daughter's 11, about to be 11, and she truly does kind of look at how Claire was behaving and things for that to kind of know, you know, where she was going. So, all right. So now that we
did all that. So.
we got that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So, the oil for the night. I don't get a drum roll or anything. Okay. Tonight's oil brought to you by class brought to you by Clary Sage. You're welcome, Clary. You deserve it. The scientific name for this is Salvia scleria. What? Dun dun dun.
No, her mom's kicking her in front of a bus. I could follow Claire around the house with a camera and you could really see what kind of kid she is.
Your subscriptions and view time would go through the roof. Can you turn that just a little bit? You always cut me out of the picture. I think he's trying to tell me something. He's trying to replace me with the wall.
Oh, the whiteboard, how I love thee.
Okay, so my disclaimer before I get started. 1, anybody with low blood pressure, not a good oil to use. However, if you're on the other end of the spectrum, this oil has hypotensive effects. So again, if you have low blood pressure, you definitely don't want to be using this oil, especially not in, you know, big amounts. Another thing is because of all of the different, really? Are you serious? What are you doing?
I'm not getting contaminated with girl cooties tonight.
Will you stop?
No girl cooties are here.
You're going to put, you realize you're just distracting everybody, right?
That's how I'm doing it before you get to the heavy stuff.
Okay. So, this oil also, with the properties that it has,
It's too hot for that.
yeah, exactly. If you use any narcotics, and by that I'm not saying if you're smoking weed or doing anything like that, I'm saying even if you use pain pills that happen to be a narcotic or whatever, regular legal Schedule 1 stuff, or if you're consuming alcohol, these are not things, this is not an oil you want to be using while you're doing any of that. Okay, we'll just leave it at that for right now. And then above and beyond all of that, just saying. The biggest one though is definitely pregnant women don't use this. With one exception, and we'll get to that later. Okay, so usually you guys like to know, I like to tell you about where it's been cultivated. Clary Sage it's been in the Mediterranean, North Africa, Central Asia, Russia, everywhere. I mean, like, it's very prolific all over the place. So getting it from, you know, to try and say that it came from one spot, this one grows so well in a lot of different regions. It's harvested from several places all over the world. The history behind it, I always like to get these little tidbits of history. The Romans called it the scleria. That's what I was telling you, that the Salvia scleria. They just called it scleria, and the reason for that was because it comes from the Latin word clarus, which means clear, because they used it as an eye wash. They used to use it to clean out the mucus and stuff that would get in your eyes. So that's what they used it for. German merchants used to add it to Rhine wine to make it imitate, like almost like the muscadine, like a muscatel wine. And it was so common that Germans actually called it muscatel sage. So that was another AKA for this particular herb. Or it's what they use to make the oil is the leaves and the flower. So they would use, that's what they would call it, was a muscatel sage. It sometimes was used to replace hops to make beer, which I think is really cool. Because
you know what else they used to replace hops one time?
what?
Pineapple.
It's a different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So they used to use it to replace. They replaced it. Replaced hops with it in beer, and the reason they did that is because it produced an enhanced intoxication, really, or exhilaration, like because of the properties that it has. That's how it worked. And it was also used as an aphrodisiac, so that was kind of interesting. It also was used to soothe skin in the Middle Ages, so it was used for like wound dressings and things of that, rashes and things of that nature. So enough about the history. Let's get into what properties this has. Okay, so the very first thing is it promotes healthy brain function. It's a neurotonic, which means that it stimulates the nervous system. So it's been used to help with seizures and things like Parkinson's, because of all the anything neurological.
Everybody, I see that you guys are saying that it's buffering. Here we've got solid stream strength. So everybody go ahead before Robyn takes back off and starts again so you don't miss anything. Go ahead and refresh.
Huh. Yeah, we're not showing buffering at all.
Kitty's saying it's a YouTube issue.
You know, I noticed that with what's her name? She was every once in a while.
Yeah.
She would buffer too. Amanda was buffering.
Amanda was buffering a little bit, but I figured that's because she was around the storm. I think I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually went offline. Yeah, we're watching the little red button at the top, and it's telling us.
Well, I'm also watching here.
Yeah, the
it's
green
a solid
one.
green line. So
yeah. Sufficiently refreshed. Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
So we were talking about it being
back to our regularly scheduled program.
It promotes healthy brain function. It has been known to help with depression and anxiety because it has euphoric properties. It's also, an anti-stressor. So anybody with anxiety, even postpartum depression, they've used it with new moms to see how it works, and it actually does help alleviate some of the postpartum depression that some women can fall into. So it's nice for that. It also has sedative properties. So that's one reason why if you're drinking or taking any kind of medication that is also a sedative, you don't want to use this oil because it will enhance those effects and you really don't want to knock yourself out. So this helps with things like insomnia. And again, because of its sedative properties, what it does is it's not going to make you fall asleep, but what it does is gives you those calming feelings so that when you go to sleep, you're actually resting.
Rain country. So does that mean it is good for other forms of depression?
Yes, because of its euphoric properties, it is definitely good for depression. And again, we're talking about the healthy brain function. A lot of times depression is a chemical thing in the brain. So you're talking about promoting a healthy brain function, which would then help to combat depression. And this is why. It increases circulation. Just like how we were talking about eucalyptus last week, it's a vasodilator. So it opens up the blood vessels. And it also causes your blood pressure. You can lower your blood pressure. That's why I was saying earlier, if you already have low blood pressure, you don't want to be using this oil very frequently because you could bottom out your blood pressure, and you really don't want to do that. And what it does is, how it lowers your blood pressure is it relaxes the brain and the arteries so that oxygen can get into the muscles, and it helps support organ function, so it keeps everything going so that you don't have anything build up like plaque and things of that nature. It's also good for the heart. With this increasing circulation, it also helps with asthma because it helps relax the bronchial tubes in your lungs, so it allows you to breathe a little bit easier. So that's also a really good suburban hillbilly. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so all of this low blood pressure stuff leads to, it also will help lower your cholesterol. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, and that's what I was saying about with your heart. It's cardioprotective because it decreases stress and improves circulation, which in turn helps reduce cholesterol. So all of these different properties work in so many different ways. This is why this oil is one of the, this is like the most healthful essential oil that I've read about, because it has so many different applications and so many different properties that it's, to me, it's mind-blowing. This one is definitely one of those heavy hitters. When we're talking about putting together a first aid kit or for a bug out bag or something long-term like that, this is definitely one that I would want to make sure that I had plenty of.
Funner We Creations, can someone with edema in the feet use it?
Refresh my memory. What edema in the feet, is that swelling? Is that what edema is? I would have to look that one up. Okay, so the scleral, it's really hard to say, is...
Everybody's saying yes.
Okay, so I would think so, but I would definitely do some research on that. I would ask about it. I do not recommend you...
No Yankee.
I don't recommend you just taking my word for it. Do your research. Like, that's my big thing. Another thing, we haven't had it asked yet, but I'll go ahead and knock this question out. This is one of those where it says you can safely use this oil neat, which means you don't need to use a carrier oil. However, I have known a few people who can get skin sensitivity to it. So always, always, always try with a carrier oil first. And there's also a beneficial property of using a carrier oil, because what happens is when I'm only using 1 drop or 2 drops of this oil, it only covers a certain amount of area. But if you put it into either a lotion or a carrier oil, you're allowing that oil to spread over a larger area, so it can be more effective. What?
Basics to Living got busted.
Why?
He forgot to delete before he...
Uh-oh, what did he say?
He said the word too fast and everybody's busting his chops about it.
Oh.
Like Palmetto says, if you're going to type it, remember to delete before typing.
Before typing another word in, or another sentence in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the thing about the scleral is that it's also got the properties we had talked about, and I can't remember which oil it is. Maybe one of y'all can remind me. Got it all here in my notes. I just don't want to flip through it right now. But do you remember apoptosis, We were talking about where it can kill. It kills a specific. It's like it's programmed to kill certain cells, so it recognizes cells that are not supposed to be in the body, and it will go and target those cells and kill them off. This oil has scleral in it, and it is capable of doing that. And the reason that's important the reason that's important is because of the applications for it. We've talked before, again, about how you're distracting me with that. Please don't do that.
Look at your nose.
The fact that it does that programmed cell killing, the cell death, is because it's been used to actively try to fight leukemia, and also things like Staphylococcus aureus, and then all kinds of other different things. And because what it does is not only can it program to kill certain cells, but it also is obviously antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, antimicrobial. I mean, it's got all of those different things.
Bass family wants to know if it's good for lung butter.
Yes, it is. It's not an expectorant. There's another name for it, but mucus something about mucus, that it can break up mucus. And the thing is, this is one that you can ingest. It does have the supplemental facts on the back of the. It does have the supplemental facts on the back of the bottle. I've accidentally tasted it before, and it's not the best tasting thing. It smells divine. I absolutely love the smell of it. Before I knew all of the properties of this, I just liked the way it smelled. And I had it, and I used to put it on a diffuser necklace, and I didn't realize how much good I was doing for myself just by liking the way that it smelled.
So when did you accidentally taste this?
When?
Yeah.
It was when we were building the chicken coop out there, and I was wearing it as the diffuser. It was a long time ago. Why?
Oh, I was just wondering.
No, it did not taste good.
Yeah.
It was kind of yucky. It was definitely not sweet.
No, so
at all.
So it didn't taste like peaches?
Mm-mm. Not at all. Not at all.
Modern Desert Homestead. And Palmetto gets bronze again.
Bronze?
Yeah.
Wow. What was the name? Modern something homestead.
Yeah.
Modern. Golly. Desert Homestead. Okay, cool. So this is yours. Okay. And I finally figured out a way to
He's like, OMG, I won.
I finally figured out a way to send these oils where they're not going to get broken and they're not going to break my bank account, to send them to you. So everybody that's won one in the past, I'm definitely getting ready to send those out. So
now go get some coffee, Palmetto.
Yeah, go pee. Okay, so we were talking about how
watch, our numbers are gonna go
antibacterial. Well, all the women will stay, but it's fine. So what I think is hilarious is all the men that were sitting in here wanting to win an oil that's predominantly for women, but that's a whole nother thing. But I guess what I'm trying to tell you all is, without getting into the girly stuff, is that this oil is still beneficial for so many things besides girly stuff. Okay, so antiseptic, you can apply it to wounds to prevent infection. It also helps aid your body in healing quicker. Because of the antimicrobial properties, it's actively fighting against things like staph, infection and things like that are trying to get down into your wounds. The other thing that I read in here that I thought was quite interesting is that it also helps to stop bacteria entering.
We're all going to the potty with Farmer Meemaw. Farmer Meemaw says, "Yep, I'm taking a potty break, but I'm taking my phone with me." So everybody, we're all going pee with Farmer Meemaw.
Don't flush us. How funny.
Okay.
But what I thought was interesting is that this oil can actually help
I hope she washes her hands.
stop bacteria from entering your body through food or water. Because of its antibacterial properties, it protects things like your colon, your intestines, your urinary tract, and also your excretory system. So by protecting all of those different functions, it's not allowing the bad bacteria to get into those systems. So that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. Okay. It also promotes skin health. It is known to have, they call it ester, it's ESTER, which is actually just a compound that's produced by a reaction of oxygen and alcohol. And the one that's an ester in this plant is linaloyl acetate. And it reduces skin inflammation and also regulates protection of the oils in the skin, or the reduction of oils in the skin. What?
Cockeye wants to know, can you put it in water instead of bleach? I don't know what she's asking about with that.
To disinfect water. Can you use it to treat water instead of using bleach to treat the water? I don't know that that's the application that they're implying. I think what this is I feel like this is an oil that needs to be used regularly, and as you're regularly using it, all of these different properties are being, actively done to your entire system. If you're a guy, then obviously this is not going to help with the women parts of your body, but it can help with your heart and with your muscles and your brain and your lungs and everything else. You just don't happen to have a uterus. I mean, that's not everybody can be perfect. So anyways, so back to what I was saying before about the apoptosis. This is where I was talking about with the leukemia. In Athens, Greece, they actually did a study where they watched how the leukemia cells were either destroyed or hindered from growing. So they were able to watch how this oil actively works against leukemia along with other treatments, but it helped to either slow down or completely diminish the leukemia cells. And then also any kind of cancer is the same kind of thing, because this apoptosis that you have going on, remember, it's attacking all of the bad cells in your body, and cancer cells are not good cells. So
basics to living. Can you put it on a wound to help clean it then?
Yes, it is antiseptic. So yes, you can flush the wound. Obviously, you would want to get debris and stuff out that would harbor any kind of bacteria, and then treat the wound with the oil. So yes, absolutely. They used to do it. That's one of the things I was talking about in history. Part of this is that they used to use it for that. And I imagine it wasn't the oil. I imagine it was probably the plant itself. Just like how our daughters will take plantain straight out of the yard to treat, insect bites or ant bites or mosquito bites. I mean, they constantly are rubbing plantain on their arms, and that helps to keep, it helps to keep the itch and irritation away from their skin. So, another really good thing that this does is it helps with digestion. And most everybody here knows, if you have a good gut, you have good health. If your gut is healthy, you primarily are a healthy person. And so what this does, this oil actually boosts the secretion of gastric juices and also bile. What? And it speeds up. What are you doing? You're being silly. It helps to speed up.
How am I being silly?
Speed up and ease digestion.
So it makes you fart?
No, well, it can help with gas. It definitely can help with gas. I don't know that it actually makes you fart, but it can help with all of that, with gas, stomach disorders, anything like that that's in your intestines. Like, because think about what I was saying with where it helps to kill the bacteria that can get in your intestines and
because I don't want to
your
be
urinary
taxed.
So we need to start giving it to the cows. Is that what you're
Giving it
saying?
to the cows.
Yeah. So it helps slow down or decrease the chances of indigestion. So that's also a nice thing. And a lot of this oil, you can apply it topically, but a lot of the stuff I've seen was aromatic. Like they did it with just diffusing it in the room or just using a diffuser necklace or things of that nature. So it wasn't really... KK, you always come in at times when we got something going on. And the other thing too with the digestion is it helps the body absorb the vitamins and minerals that you're ingesting through your food. It will regulate your bowels. It'll help you kind of stay steady with that. It alleviates constipation, and it does help. And think about all the properties I've told you about. It'll help with ulcers. So if I had known about this back when I had my gastric ulcer that I had, this would have been one of those that I would have definitely used to help repair that. What are you laughing at?
Not just every one of your oils class, we're always talking about the girly stuff and poop. I'm starting to see a trend.
Did you
and
say?
lung butter.
And lung butter. Well, that's winter. Winter always asks
But yes,
that.
I said poop.
So yes. Okay, so here's the fun part. I got about 20 minutes to talk about all this. Okay, so watch the numbers drop now. All the men will leave the room. But not really, because guys, this is important for you to know too. Because if this is something that maybe your wife, significant lady, whatever, sister, mother, whatever, everybody's got a woman in their life.
Robyn, what resources do you use for your research? Always good stuff.
Everything. I scour the internet and I check all of my sources just so that you know. I don't just take anything for its word. I go and look up studies at various different places, but I always go back to my books that I have. What?
Nothing. Nothing.
So I use, and I've shown these before, but I'll show them again. I use this book, which is The Essential Oils Expanded. It has a lot of information about different illnesses or issues, different conditions, and it'll give you little recipes of things to try.
It's only a Marine thing, Palmetto, because we have higher than a 3rd grade education.
You want me to hit you with this book?
He started it.
Okay. And then the other one is this book.
And you almost hit me in
right, y'all. It's called The Essential Life. Really?
I'm trying to get it where it doesn't have
just
a
like
glare.
that. The Essential Life. This is a good book. I've got, I just talked to Kay today. She does have some books. So those of you that sent me an email, I'll be reaching out to you to find out, to find out who all is still interested in getting one. Yeah, I'm getting to that about what one is good for men. But I already kind of have. The cedar wood was very good for manly stuff. All of the grounding oils are really good for men's health. But I guess being a woman is a little bit more difficult to me start talking about testy health. So, okay. So very first thing, and this is kind of a heavy one, endometriosis. Somebody asked me about this last week or week before. But this oil, this endometriosis and breast cancer, these are two pretty scary things for a woman to go through. And this oil works by helping to regulate your estrogen. And it's promoting healthy cells. Remember, I was talking about the apoptosis. It helps encourage the healthy cells and get rid of the nasty cells. So it's very important. You know, this is one of those things that...
Thank you, Krista.
What'd she do? Oh, got somebody. Okay, so here's a funny one we can all laugh about. And I actually, looked at this because I thought it was hilarious. But it actually has one of the properties, or one of the uses. Like, in my book, it says, the most used, or what does it say? The top uses, I guess, is how it classifies it. Yeah, it says top uses. I'm not lying to you. The second or third thing at the top said breast enlargement. I was like, what? Like, this makes no sense to me. Like, I know, right? So, I'm like, what are you talking? Like, why would that even encourage? Like, how does that work? So I really did.
Say that again. What?
Breast enlargement.
Yeah, that's the part that made me pay attention.
Yes.
I was zoning out. What
Yes.
were you talking about before that? Did Clary Sage makes that happen?
Yes. So okay, so what it does, is, and here's the thing, guys. It's not just breast enlargement, but what it does is it encourages healthy breasts. So we all want to say the tatas. So this is one of those oils that...
Our numbers just jumped back up to almost 100.
Well, and at first I thought this was ridiculous. But it makes sense because, again, you're getting rid of the bad stuff and you're allowing the blood vessels to open up. And you're getting rid of all the junk, and so you're allowing things to kind of firm up and grow a little bit. Now, I will say this, in all of my research, it wasn't just the oil by itself. It included eating a little bit more fatty foods and things like that. So when you would do something, and the other thing is that it said that it's not a quick fix. This is something you got to do for like a couple months, and you have to massage. But again, here's the thing. It promotes breast health, period. So this is a double benefit here.
Will this cut down on chances for Tata cancer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because again, we're talking about this apoptosis. It's programmed to kill bad cells. So if you have anything like that, and even, I don't know about y'all, but when I was younger, sorry, Claire, when I was younger, she's not saying it's a family show.
Well, it is. But
but it's not.
But this is more about the cancer than
right.
just...
No, what I'm saying is this is about health, and it's programmed to kill the cells that, cancer cells, leukemia cells, things like that. So this is definitely one of those that, if you put into your routine, you're going to have overall health, brain health, lung health, overall muscular health, because you're allowing more oxygen into the muscles. So,
and all joking aside, that's something that, I'm sorry, because breast cancer is on the rise.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
even guys are starting to get it now with our moves, but that's, all joking aside, guys, we need to pay attention to this just for our wives, because none of us wants to lose our best friends and our
right.
Blushing brides.
And here's the other thing. It doesn't have to be cancer per se. There is something called fibrocystic disease. And it's basically cysts, but they're benign. They're not tumors, but they're tumors, but they're not cancerous tumors, but they're still extremely uncomfortable. I know guys, I'm sure, have had some kind of cysts before, but these can get on your, your female organs, female organs, let's just put it that way. Anything female related, you can get cysts, and they're fibrous cysts, and this will help to break those down.
So Basic Living wants to know, so does it killing all cancer cells?
No, it's...
Or just the female cancer?
No. Apoptosis. Look it up. I think it's APOPTOSIS. It is it's a big word, meaning that it is programmed to kill certain cells. And what it does, the properties in this oil are programmed to eliminate or to lessen the spread and for it to keep going, regeneration of bad cells. So anything, like I was saying, leukemia, breast cancer, testicular cancer, I mean, any kind of cancer, any kind of bad thing, like I was talking about, a staphylococcus staph infection. This is another one of those things that, you keep that on you when you go to visit people in the hospital. It's... So what you're saying is God had a plan, and with the Clary Sage to put a whooping on stuff. Right. This is one of those oils that definitely the plant itself, the flower and the leaves, can be used to help in combating these nasty cells that are in your body. Okay, we got two. So for what you're talking about, this is Anita. How would you use the oil? Would you take it internally? Okay, and then Donna S. said, you said people with low blood pressure can't take, right? Her sister called right when you started with that, and so... Okay, so, yeah, you have to be really careful. If you're already have low blood pressure, we were talking about how this oil will lower your blood pressure. Well, if you already have low blood pressure, you don't want to take this because it'll make you bottom out. So this is not one of those that you want to use for that reason. However, if you're one of those people, send me a message and we'll find one that'll work, because there are more oils that have this same property that might not have the same effect of it being a hypotensive property. So Zena says, so a daily dose could break down fibroid tumors. If so, thank God, and tell me how much to take. Okay, so if we're talking in this area, they say that the best way to do that is massage. To just distribute it with a carrier oil and to just kind of work it in. And again, this is one of those things that I was talking about. If you're doing your monthly exam or whatever that you really should be doing, this is one of those things you would want to put into your routine. Simple Life Homesteading, the Pioneer Way, says it's used in soaps also. Old as dirt. Does it absorb into the system through the skin? Yes. Basics to Living, but will lower high blood pressure. Yes. It will lower high blood pressure. It has hypotensive properties. Remember, we were talking about it being a vasodilator, so it opens up the blood vessels. It doesn't constrict them. So it's allowing the blood to flow more freely. And it's also encouraging more oxygen into your system. Zena says, no, not those. The other fibroids. Fibroid what? Fibroids. Not those, the other fibroids. Knowing the properties that it has, I would say yes, but we can look that up, Zena. That's not a problem. Zena, send her an email. She knows the email. She sent it to me before. So at bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com. I have one job here. You're not going to take it away from me. That email is bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com. Okay. All right. Now, another thing. You got a wife that's pregnant. And you're getting... What? What did you just say? If you have a wife that is pregnant. If you have a wife that is pregnant, you don't want to be using this oil, especially in the first couple of trimesters. But this is an oil that you definitely want to have when you're getting close. My head started spinning there for a second. one, it will stimulate menses. So by it having that property, if you're at that point where it's time to start going into labor, you can use this oil to stimulate that, to help with that, to kind of, I don't want to say hurry it along, but kind of facilitate the labor process. What they've used it in several places overseas, and it has properties. It's not an analgesic per se, but it does help with pain. And I think part of that is because we were talking about how it encourages a healthy brain function, and it's a natural sedative, so it kind of helps you relax. When you're way up here high, with anxiety and pain, and your threshold is just way up here, this oil can help kind of bring you back down a little bit and help you relax, so that you can actually, your body's not locking up because it's in so much pain.
Is that the oil that you used on me?
For what?
The other, when I was having my headaches.
No.
I should.
No. Yeah, you can. And the thing about, I wrote this over here. What it does is it helps relax mom. And it reduces the the fear and anxiety, so it allows you to kind of concentrate more on what doing instead of just about the pain. When they did their study, Clary Sage and chamomile were the most effective in alleviating pain. So those two oils are definitely ones that would help with that. Let's see, what else?
So what do you give the dad when the mom's in labor?
Well, the great thing about this is because it's kind of that sedative, calming effect.
That one mine?
Yes. Aromatically, it is a very pleasant smelling. Now, don't taste it, but just smell it. It's a pleasant smell. That's when somebody said that it was used in soaps and stuff. That's primarily for the fragrance.
What about using the oils with things like turmeric
and moringa? Yeah, I mean, you don't want to depend on just one thing. You can kind of use different stuff. What I would say is, if turmeric, and I don't know a whole lot about turmeric or moringa as far as their properties go.
So you weren't paying any attention?
No.
And Bradshaw?
I know what things it has in it. No. He was talking more about what it includes. It has all these vitamins and the essential, what were they? No, what did he call it? I can't remember. But all of the amino acids and things like that that are needed in the body. But what I would do is don't use two of the same thing with the same properties. So, like I said before, if you're using this oil, you don't want to be doing anything that's a sedative, because it will only enhance those properties and you might sleep a little bit longer than you'd like to. That kind of thing. Let's see. Alright. Now this is another big one.
Lang-a-lang.
It contains phytoestrogens, which are dietary estrogens that are derived from plants, not from your endocrine system. And what that means is that it helps to regulate the estrogen levels and promotes long-term health in the female reproductive system. It reduces the chances of uterine or ovarian cancer. So this is another thing, guys. We can get a little uncomfortable, but this is definitely one of those oils that I'm telling you, they don't call it the woman's oil for no reason.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Daily, I have to...
Don't go there. Family friendly. Don't go there.
I have to put it on the top and massage in.
Well,
but then what about, do you just put it right around your belly button?
Okay, so here's my thing. We were talking about this before. I don't know if this is something that you need to be putting on every single day. I would definitely recommend it having some kind of application every day, but I wouldn't say that you need to put it on the top and the bottom every day. You can use a diffuser necklace to get it aromatically. You can, and the thing that I liked about the diffuser necklace is that we had it on clay, and when it laid up against my chest, it was still, the contact was still getting into the skin, so I was still getting some of that in there as well.
Rain Country says, probably going to get this, but what about us ladies on the other side?
Okay, perfect.
Hot flashes?
Perfect, Heidi. This is an awesome segue. It's like you knew what I was going to say. This oil is also great for hot flashes, and it's good for the transition of what you're talking about. It definitely helps with mood, because again, it has that euphoric properties. So, you know, we were talking about depression, so it's going to kind of help lift you up instead of bring you down. But the sedative properties are like a calming sense. It's not I'm going to knock you out, you know, fall asleep like lavender can. It's more of when I was talking about sedative properties, it's when you get to sleep, it promotes a restful sleep. It's not just you're going to bed. You're actually waking up refreshed. What?
Did you and Rain set that transition up earlier? Because I watch Rain, and there is no way on this planet that she's old enough to be on the other side of that fence. I watch her videos. Yeah, okay, Xena, yeah, I'm just started that mess and burning up's
gotta go. Okay, so we talked about peppermint. Peppermint's great for that because it naturally cools the body. So peppermint's really good. One thing I was going to talk about with Clary Sage is that it's found in the Women's Monthly Blend, which for...
No way.
What?
Really?
Well, look, just like us, she lives a really clean life. So of course, yes, she is a testament to what taking care of yourself looks like. We have people tell us all the time they don't believe that we're, you know, in our 40s all the time. Okay, so what was I talking about? Oh, monthly blend. They have a monthly blend. Tara has one. It's called Clary Calm. Very appropriate because it helps with any symptoms that come from being a girl. Let's just put it that way. Whether it be PMS, cramping, all that nasty stuff that none of the men want to talk about, but anything having to do with that end of it. So like even as young as Claire's age, even my daughter's not old enough to be there yet, but I'm already getting her in the habit of liking the smell of this stuff because it works wonders. I had a friend who called me in tears because she was in so much pain, and she was on that other side of the fence like Rain, but she was having one last go round and she was in so much pain. I took her over the women's blend, and within a few hours she didn't need any pain medicine anymore. She had regulated a little bit to where she was able, again, because of the calming properties, it was able to relax her, but to also start working its magic on opening up blood vessels, allowing more oxygen in, you know, getting rid of it works really good with headaches that are associated with menses. It's just anything having to do woman-wise. Clary Sage and the women's blend, the Clary Calm, in my opinion, every woman should have some of this.
Angel Man wants to know how about spot pain management?
Spot pain management.
Yeah, like if you got a pain in your elbow.
Clary Sage I wouldn't recommend. When I looked at all the properties, analgesic's not really on there. What?
Well, Claire's saying she has to take lots and lots of ibuprofen.
Well, Claire, I already talked to your mom.
And I'm not ready to... No. Because...
I already talked to your mom about
Uncle
this.
Jason is not ready to she's still a baby.
I already told your mom about Clary Sage because she asked me not even a month ago. So she knows about Clary Sage. We already talked about this. Clary Sage and lavender work really good together. So
Okay, Big Family Homestead, y'all need to just pack up the house now and move down this way. Get here. We'll figure it out once y'all get here, because that way you and Krista can do this show together.
Palmetto, I agree. I got an ulcer from ibuprofen as well. I had really bad arthritis, and I still have it. I have arthritis in my hands and my elbows, and I used to take ibuprofen like candy. And I ended up developing a gastric ulcer that made me so sick I could barely get out of bed. So definitely ibuprofen's nasty, and I'm just going to leave it there. Let's see. Okay, so the one thing I did in my research that I found out about, we were talking about these estrogenic effects. A lot of women's specific diseases are caused from an excess of estrogen because of the consumption of high estrogen foods. So that begs the question, what are the high estrogen foods?
Night, Claire. Love
Good night,
you.
sweetie. And some of these I knew, but some, anyway, soy, sugar, conventional meat, conventional dairy, and then the BPAs and the Teflons. So those 5 things are things that you kind of...
That's Brad right now, and I know he's not talking about that because he's the one who needs a training bra.
He's already been using the Clary Sage. Okay, so we were talking about depression earlier. They were asking me about different forms of depression. For Clary Sage for depression, you want to inhale it. They've actually done studies where they did like a 60-minute diffusion in the air with people in a room, and after 60 minutes they tested the cortisol. What?
Brad. They call me DJ C-Cup.
So inhalation actually reduced cortisol levels like 36%. And you people with thyroid issues, it actually improved thyroid levels. So it kind of helped level out thyroid. So it lowered the cortisol to help combat depression like postpartum. Because that's, we were talking about chemical imbalances in the brain. You lower the cortisol, what?
Living on a dime. Hey, so one of our readers said you said Mike had a heart attack and was in the hospital. What? I don't know where they got that from, Living on a Dime, because I haven't really been on.
Well, we weren't on.
We weren't on y'all's. We missed y'all's
tonight.
show today, so, and nobody said anything about Mike in here, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Send me a message to cite the source, and we'll
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So, since it balances hormone levels, like we were saying before, it can help regulate a cycle, can help reduce or eliminate symptoms from PMS, and since it's an antispasmodic, it can treat like cramps, spasms, even headaches and stomach aches. So this is one that you'll want to use when it comes around that time. And what I've even gotten in the habit of doing is using it a day or two before I'm due, and I start applying it on my abdomen to help out with that. What? What?
Nothing.
Okay, you look like you were... okay. And it also, Rain, back to your question, it helps with the discomforts that are associated with menopause. So we're talking about heat flashes, cold sweats, anything like that. This would be a good one to layer with peppermint because it would help with the calming effects, but also the cooling sensation that would go with that.
Thank you, Palmetto. Thank you, Amanda.
Is Living on a Dime still in here? Yes.
I think so, yes.
Tara, when I was going through my research, I saw several things about chronic fatigue. syndrome, and I know that she has that, and it was the first thing when I saw it come across the pages. This was definitely one of those oils where it specifically mentioned chronic fatigue syndrome. So just a thought. And I know she grows different things in her garden. This might be a flower to maybe
She says, oh yeah, what did you find?
well, she'll get it in a second because it's lagging a little. But so Clary Sage is definitely, that's it right there. Clary Sage. And in my research, if I find more, I will definitely let you know. So we'll kind of go with that. But this is definitely one of those I would look into. And, if it's not one of those things that, like, you don't want to do the oil, you just want to kind of grow your own flowers, I would look into that. It's Salvia sclerea, I think. You can try and grow it and make your own.
Don't answer that because he's setting it up. And if you answer it, it's just going to be like lobbing a softball and he's going to knock it right out of the park. So just pretend you didn't even see it. Okay.
One of the last things, Claire had said earlier about ibuprofen, they actually did a study with aroma massage where they found that the effects of pain relief were more than the average acetaminophen. So that's another thing that, you kind of think about all these different properties, you put it together. This is one that's good to have in the medicine cabinet, not just for the females. This one works well for everybody. So that's my shtick. Modern Desert Homestead will definitely again, if they're in here, I need to get your address. So if you'll send it to Big Bear Farms Oils at hotmail.com, that way I'll be able to send you your...
Okay, but you know what?
What?
Personally, I know how much work you put into this. Okay? And I watch our numbers go way up in the beginning, and then after I give away the oil, they kind of go down. And that kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. So, for all these people that are left, here's a trivia question. And the first one that gets this trivia question correct will also get a free
I'll send
oil.
another one.
Okay? So, here's my trivia question. It's dealing with a movie. Which movie did John Wayne play a boxer where he fought somebody and it killed him and he left the country and went back to his childhood home? Quiet man right there. Oh, who got it? Old Way Steve.
And man, I just sent your other one. Man. Saving Private Ryan.
Old Way Steve.
Alright. Old Ways Steve. Yay. So guys, we really appreciate y'all hanging in with us. I know that stuff can get a little uncomfortable at times, but I felt that this one, whether you had to sit through it or not, you kind of needed to hear about it, because as much as we don't want to talk about, female stuff, you still, those things can be
okay, Steve just said no, he'll pass, give it to the second place. So
oh, crud.
Now I gotta go back over here.
You're not gonna give it to Donna? I bet Donna would want some. Right there, Terry Lawson.
Terry Lawson. If you can hear this announcement, Terry Lawson, please report to the principal's office. Okay, Terry Lawson, you're there. Send us your address, please. Big Bear Farms Oils at hotmail.com. Okay. Thankfully, there's nobody else behind us. So,
Yeah, Lonely Prepper, you need to hit me up and send me some more. I read your novel that you sent me. I was just wondering if you... BB is principal. I'll pass. Yeah, I know, Billy.
But you know what? She can always go back and watch it. Thanks for the view. Okay, so some of you guys that's been in here a lot know what's coming next. Okay, what oil do you want to do next?
Anybody have any suggestions? Vetiver.
Lavender.
Lavender.
We talked about lavender.
Yeah, we were gonna do lavender this week. Hemp oil. You know, if I had hemp oil, I would do some research on it. Lemon. Pine, olive. Y'all are funny. Something about depression. Okay? Something not well known. I mean, something with pain management. Okay. Peach center with pine. Frankincense, that's another one. Echinacea, I don't have echinacea. I might know where you could get some. Is there rose or orange? Okay, rose is extremely expensive because of how much it takes to produce the oil. It's like $500 for a bottle or something like that.
Wow.
It's like one of these bottles it's like really high. But orange, I do have wild orange oil.
Okay, frankincense or lang-a-lang?
Ooh, lang-a-lang. Ooh.
Okay, lang-a-lang it is. I'll make that decision.
Yeah, we'll do some lang-a-lang.
We'll do some lang-a-lang.
Yes, Farmer Meemaw, you're absolutely right. Rosewater's a lot more affordable. Absolutely. But yeah, it takes like a ton. Yeah, lang-a-lang will be a good one. We can do that one next. But I do think I'm probably...
Zena works in a school and she says cold and flu season is upon us, so maybe that one.
Steve, is that a men's oil? It can be. Just leave it there. Do I have a catalog or a list? Actually, the best thing for you to do is to go to the website. Just, Brenda, I've got your email. I'll send you the link through the email.
Coconut oil, somebody said. So next week we're going to do lang-a-lang, and then
I'll probably do vetiver after that, because vetiver is one that we know a lot about here on our homestead. That is one of the ones that we use for anxiety, depression, that kind of thing. So
all right, so let's open it up.
My lang-a-lang, my lang. Amanda.
Okay, we're gonna open it up for questions. Please put them in all caps. If we don't get to it, because I know y'all are gonna be like, brrr, please repost.
Anything to make menopause hurry and go away. If there's gonna be one, Clary Sage is one of those. It's going to help with that transition.
Or the ice bucket challenge. Robyn, did you send out that cedarwood sample for call?
If you didn't, that's fine. Just want to make sure we have packages missing. You know what? I don't think I did. I have everybody's stuff.
Grandpa?
I have everybody's stuff literally sitting on my, like right by my entertainment center.
Yeah, we had to go out and find some boxes for those things.
Well, the problem is that, we're down to one car right now, and so trying to find the time to go to the post office, I have to do it during my lunch break. So, I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'll probably go tomorrow. Yeah. It's horrible to deal with. Miserable. I will say that Clary Sage is one of those that it's a good transition, because if you're already using it when you're younger, like my age, by the time you get to that other side of the fence, I imagine that using it over time will help facilitate that process. Just my 2 cents. I'll stop by the PO for you. If you live down here, see?
Start packing now.
You're not here yet?
For real. I mean, you don't even call me anymore like you used to. It's like you're breaking up with me or something.
All I know about getting over menopause is it's long and horrible. I'll tell you that the blend, the women's blend, that same friend that I told you about, she is using it now fairly regularly, and she's not having nearly as many problems. So it's definitely something to look into.
And as far as I know, we are still out of gas in our area.
I know Hartwell doesn't have any. I know Elberton this afternoon at lunchtime still had premium, but that was about it. So, and I think my hypothesis was right. I think they turned off the premium and the plus so that everybody would use the regular gas, and once the regular gas was out, then they turned on the premium pumps and the plus pumps so that people had to pay way more for their gas. They were justified, and so it wasn't price gouging. Just saying. Alright, anybody, Lady Hawthorne, that'll help. That the women's blend, that was what she was going through. So it helped tremendously with her. $199. Yeah, well ours was
we jumped up to $220.
$220, yeah. To the wrong side of the Savannah River. 40 gallons. We have about I think Blaze said we probably have about 10 gallons stored total. If you count what's in the truck that we could siphon. We have a little over 10 gallons. But I drive a Prius, so that's another 400 and something miles that I could drive.
Any advice for a city dweller like me? Move. No. No, you can, Texas Liberty, you can prepare living in a city. I mean, are you an apartment or are you in the suburbs with a little quarter-acre home, little homestead? I mean, you gotta give me more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've declared a state of emergency in Georgia, and Deal did sign something that was a price freeze. It's not supposed to go up above a certain.
Lives in an apartment. Okay. So, look into container gardening. Do you have a porch area? I mean, are you on the first floor, second floor, third floor? Hopefully you're on the second or third floor.
And I'll give you a good example. When I was teaching, let's think about this for a second. When I was teaching, we effectively had a small garden that was about the size of this desk.
If that.
We were able to grow stuff in 2-liter bottles, in little terracotta pots. We had lettuce growing, we had tomatoes growing, we had peppers growing, we had all kinds of stuff growing. And we literally had it all on a concrete pad that we would pull in at night so it didn't freeze.
Okay, the very first thing I would do, Texas, is talk to your apartment complex about getting you on a second floor. Get up. That's for security purposes. Second, then you on your porch start saving up 2-liter bottles. You can turn them into self-watering containers to grow vegetables and stuff, and they work like a champ.
They're great for lettuce.
You can take an old aquarium and put root vegetables in there, and what's awesome about it, if you get any kids, they can literally watch them grow. Watch a carrot grow. Yeah. That's kind of awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. You can make compost in a bucket. We're getting ready to kick off that sustainable and prepping series this week. I'm probably going to do the first video tomorrow, and then it's going to 5-gallon self-wicking watering buckets work great. Yep. I mean, there's all kinds of things. Okay, that's news. Susan Campbell said, did you hear about New York? 1,000 National Guard going in, declaring a state of emergency in New York, New Jersey, and she thinks Pennsylvania. On national news tonight, they told people to prepare with food and water.
And that was Carmichael.
That's what I said.
No, you keep saying Campbell.
I said Carmichael.
Okay.
I said Carmichael. You hear Campbell.
Okay.
That's
whatever.
the problem with this. Yep, a blue spectrum light.
Milk jugs. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Go get him, Revelation. Help him out. Vertical gardens. Yep, that's another awesome thing that you can do. There are lots and lots of things that you can do, Texas. If you have not, please sub to the channel because we're going to kick it off hardcore tomorrow.
Yep. Definitely.
Okay, so last call. Any more questions for the mama? I'm going to go like this. Last call. Any more questions for the mama? Awesome, Texas. Good night, girls. Over at Simply Circus.
Oh. Good night, guys. No, sorry, Robyn.
No more questions, it looks like.
No, that's fine.
Yep, that's good. That means she's doing her job.
Yeah, it means I covered enough.
Okay, you guys that won tonight, please make sure that you send Mama your email because now that we've got those boxes, she's going to start sending them out this week. Here's the solicitation. Tonight's show was brought to you by our sponsor, Hot Tea. That just never gets old to me. If you guys get a chance, go check us out on the web at www.bigbearhomestead.com. Check us out. Read some of the pages. I'm going to be putting up pages on prepping and sustainable living up there this week also. That way we can also link the videos to them, and I'm going to be able to share more information on those pages versus in the video. Please go to the homesteadnetwork.com. Go there in your upper right hand corner. Please submit your email address because like I say every week, we're not going to spam you. That's just in case, like if I get hit by a truck and I can't do my show, Brad's going to send out a mass email that says, hey, Big Bear got hit by a truck. So go on over to Deep South Homestead or JS Farms 2004. They're going to be covering his live show tonight. Also, what else is also? Is that it? That's it. Just remember to love one another, be kind, search out more than ever, like Tommy from the Off-Grid Nation said about a month ago. Search out people in your area that are part of this group and get to know them.
Put your feelers out.
Get to know them. Start to build the bonds of trust, because if we have not seen anything by this weekend, we know hard times are coming. Thanks for coming to our show. Thanks for being part of the Homestead Network. And like always, have a nice day. Love you guys.
Bye.